What's going on, my good people? This your boy Lap Up the Entertainer, here to bring you some action between Southern University and Jackson State University. This is going to be an interesting band battle to see. We got a chance to see them in the Battle of the Bands this upcoming week, and so that was crucial. They was going neck and neck. If you haven't seen that video at the Battle of the Bands, please click on that video above. It was a very great watch, but this is the game, okay? This is the game. So, what are we expecting from the game? There's a zero quarter, there's halftime, and there's fifth. Okay, I'm grading all that. So make sure y'all sit tight so I can bring y'all to action. Okay, so what does that look like for both of these bands? Both of these bands excel in different things. So it's exciting to see what they're going to bring to the table. So, you know, some bands kind of excel on the field, some bands don't. This year, Southern has done very well on the field. So I don't know what Southern's going to bring on to the field, but it looks very, very promising. Same thing for Jackson State. It's going to be very promising for this band as well. So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring, okay? Very excited to see what they're going to bring. I do not know what to expect, okay? I really don't know what to expect, but I am very excited to see what they're going to bring, okay? So, with that being said, let's get into the action. Please look to the cards next to me so you know we'll be grading. For zero quarter, we will be grading song selection, power, articulation, arrangement, and overall cleanness. Maximum points they can make all together is 45. In the zero quarter, bands play spirit songs, okay? So if a band been playing that song for years, it's considered a spirit song because they recycle the song. Also, if the song is tied into the school, it's a traditional song that's considered a spirit song. These bands, when I grade zero quarter, sometimes they pull those out because they're trying to get the crowd hype, or the football team comes out. So sometimes it's kind of just like a neutral song to play because of that. And sometimes they play traditional songs to get them time to recuperate their book for the fifth quarter, okay? So just want to throw that out there for people who do not know what that means, okay? But everything else is 10, okay? So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring, and you know, hopefully they bring that heat in zero quarter. But like I said, they were going head to head at that boombox. So I don't know what to expect out of this. So let's get into the action. Shout out to Killer Kill for getting this. Southern, ladies and gentlemen. Southern, ladies and gentlemen. They ain't playing no game. They start off with that perfect. They said, come here. Let me hit y'all with that. That's power, dog. That is power. Alright, sound selections 5, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10, cleanness 10. They got a 45. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Can't wait to see what Southern's response is. That's Southern with Jackson's response. About getting crunk for 0 quarter, fam. For real.
Difference between amateur.
I'm gonna bring it back. Alright, let's get that a grade. Oh man, that ain't nice. That ain't nice. Oh man, that was nice. Alright, so everything is a perfect. No complaints at all. One thing I would say is that the trumpets got to make sure to be careful not to hang over too much. Alright, but they was playing majority in the pocket, so it's not too bad, but I would say that they had to watch out for that. Alright, but it was perfect. It was perfect. Moving on. Even Steven is 0. Oh man, Southern on that. They own it, dog. They ain't playing no games in 0, fam. Woo! They ain't playing no games. They're coming with that power. They coming with that power, fam. Oh man, they was Super Saiyan too, bro. It's just 0 quarter. That's all I gotta say. It's just 0 quarter, fam. It is just 0 quarter. Wow. That's crucial. Whew. Alright, then moving on. Give that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Man, you know how power and arrangement can get scary? That's one of those moments right there. That's one of those moments right there, man. Woo, my gosh. That is one of those moments. They don't want Super Saiyan in this thing, fam. Wow. Oh, man. Jackson, man. Whoa. They was not playing no games at all. They came with that pressure. For real. For real, that was crucial. Alright, moving on.
This thing just read like 50 articles and 90.
I hear y'all with wins. Watch out on that hangover, but it was okay. God in this thing, fam. Oh man, we just a couple minutes in. Oh, something, bruh. Mm-mm. Oh man, that'll raise your heavy, have a stank face, bruh. That's how you know they cranking, bruh. That'll raise that the whole thing can make you have a stank face, bruh. No, like no lie. Like you hear that across the field, you be like, damn. That's how I was feeling about Jackson earlier, but damn. Ooh, they coming with them nukes. In 0 quarter. Oh my gosh. Alright, moving on. Oh shit. Alright. Let's get that a grade. Almost a perfect. I felt like that tuba split part, that first tuba break, could be just a tad bit cleaner. Tad bit cleaner. That's just me though. I just feel like it just needs just a little extra tuning. Like just fix the small parts. Like it was more so of an attacking issue than anything. Because I feel like the people who were playing the splits were not playing it together. If that makes sense. Not the actual notes. I'm talking about like the singular notes. Like for just the tuba sections, like in different areas. Okay? More so the last part of it, like the lower notes. If that makes sense. So it wasn't the whole section with just a certain section with a certain note. If that makes sense. But almost a perfect on that. Alrighty. Moving on. Tough piece though from tubas.
ASE 61850 test set supports 3 modes of operation. Client,
Alright. Very strong arrangement, but almost a perfect. High brass. High brass. Alright. Sound selections 10. Powers 10. Articulations 10. Arrangements 10. Cleanness, I'm going to give them a 9. Alright. Only reason why I gave him that is because it's just, there was some runs that needed to be slightly fixed in the high brass. Okay? The first time when they did that, the initial change into the different song, the different part of the song, when they changed their key with it, they didn't get that all the way out. There was a couple other parts in there that just need to be sprucing up just a tad bit. But almost a perfect. I would say this too, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves, and I think a lot of people don't know this. But when you play your horn, don't shake your horn left and right. That's not doing anything. It was like it does not do anything at all. Like when you play, you're going to play straight. You moving it side to side is not going to do anything. It'd be different if you just trying to get the note out. We struggling, but if you just doing this, don't do this and do this. That shit's so stupid. It does not do anything. I just want to tell y'all that because I see some people do that. They be thinking that they be killing it. Oh man! All right, moving on. Let's get out a grade. Man. Whew. Alright. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. Sound selections 5, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10. Cleanness, I'm going to give them a 9. Only reason why I gave them a 9 in that is because there was just some parts that can just be just a tad bit better. It's just very small, faint stuff that just need to be fixed, just with the lower brass and a little bit with the high brass. More so the tubas and more so the trumpets. But I feel like if they can just rectify those small issues, I think it'd be right there. It's like they was hitting it, but they wasn't hitting it, if that makes sense. Not the second half, more so the first half when they first started. Almost perfect. Moving on. Alright. Not bad at all. It's just the small parts. It's just the small parts for me. Sound selections 5, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10, cleanness, I'm getting them a 9. Almost a perfect. I just feel like there's some small parts that just need to, some phrasing that just need to get out just a tad bit more in that piece. Just alone. I just need just a little bit more in it. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just need some more tuning. I'm gonna tell y'all this too. You know, they're coming from the boombox, Battle of the Bands. Some of these people's lips are just chopped. I'm just want to let y'all know this now. Some of these people's lips are chopped. You know. Sometimes after a while, when people play, they can bust their lip, all types of stuff. So, yes, they professionals, but hey, how they was playing last night, them lips so. Oh man, moving on.
Most people think that making
get that a grade because it's getting chaotic. That's a suspected is 0 quarter though. But sound selection is 5, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10, cleanness is a 10. I got a 45. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. That was pretty good. They came in, they sounded good, they sounded together. It was well, like, real put together. I don't think nobody was truly struggling. Now, granted, I did hear something a little bit over Jackson, though. But that we're not going to count that, though. But you get what I'm getting at. You know, seeing Southern just got some power out of this world. They be playing from the sternum. But yeah, no, but that was pretty good. But I think we in the part of the 0 quarter when people trying to eat each other up with power. But you know, we'll see. But I think football teams are gonna be running out pretty soon. If that's not the case for the band right now for Southern. Right now that's kind of like a traditional song because they played that a lot. So you kind of get what I'm getting at. So that's technically speaking the Spirit song, but we'll see how that go. All right. So let's get to it. Both bands gonna try to cover each other up at this point. That could be a serious thing, but if they keep doing that, we're not gonna break those rounds. Alright, let's get at a grade. For what it was good, but you know, there was people hanging over too. Okay? So let's get that a grade. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna grade that because we got a little bit of it. We didn't get the full thing. They can get the full thing. Don't leave that alone. I'd rather hear it from the beginning, even though I heard them can't go with Jackson.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking.
It's gonna get chaotic. power. That's all I gotta say. Woo. Oh man, they're on one Super Saiyan in this thing, fam. Oh, Jackson. Oh, Jackson, man. That's all I gotta say. They do gotta watch out about hanging over though, but it was still good for the majority.
Fans and all fans in between, please rise and.
So they play the national anthem. Alright. This Jackson's Spirit song. One of Jackson's Spirit songs. Alright. Let's get that a grade. Sound selection is 3. Power, I want to give them a 10. Articulation is 10. Arrangement is 10. Cleanness is a 10. By default, because of Spirit Song. Now the thing is with Spirit Songs too, I want to clarify that too. They can be replaced depending on the song selection afterwards. So since Jackson's ahead, if they do decide to play something out of their book outside of that, they can replace that score. Okay? Just want to throw that out there. But right now, Jackson's ahead by 2. Okay? Moving on.
Let me show you how to turn.
gives me goosebumps when I hear that shit. That shit nice. Oh man, nice, perfect. Nice, perfect. So song selection, 5, powers 10, everything is a 10 after that. Whew, that was nice. Man, it's just like, it just gives you that raw feel, you know? I love that arrangement from Southern. Like, that shit's so nice. That shit is so nice, for real, for real. Southern, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on. Woo, trombones. Alright, let's get that a grade. Oh man, that was nice. Jackson. That's all I gotta say, Jackson. Oh my gosh. Give that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Did you hear that trombone part? They were eating, bruh. Ooh, they was eating. Eating them Wheaties, bruh. Damn. Oh, shit. That was nice. That was crucial, man. Man, Jackson with that. Oh, my gosh, that was beautiful. Wow. Alright. Whew. Let's see what Southern got. Let's see what they're going to respond back with. This look like this is going to be the last round for both of them. Southern's going to play and Jackson's going to close us out. Alright? So, just to give y'all fair warning, no matter what Southern responds with, if it's a spirit song, it's a spirit song. But remember, Jackson's up, so they can replace that spirit song. Okay? So, Southern need to stay consistent with their perfects to handle business. That's all I got to say.
This is the game changer.
get that a grade. So, song selection, I'm going to give them a 5. Powers, 10. Articulations, 10. Arrangements, 10. Clearness, I'm going to give them a 9. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. Only reason why I give them almost a perfect was just some parts that just need to be sprucing up just in the beginning and in the middle of that song. Everything else was good. It's just that you need to fix the small spots in this song. Okay, you just need to spot check some couple of spots, and I think that'd be straight on that. But almost a perfect on that. Moving on. I'll let Jackson play another Spirit song.
Promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, and/or intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, and coaches or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for immediate removal from this show and this competition. Also, remember that this is a campus of Snow Creek Valley. Go Jack. We also want to thank everyone for their support at the University Jukebox, hosted Jackson State in the Battle of the Bands, where Southern University went 8-0. They went undefeated last night, winning all rounds of the Battle of the Bands. So make sure you give it up for yours, Southern University Human Jukebox.
I know they lying. Alright, let's get that a grade. And just to that announcer that said that shit, hell no. Song selections 3, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10, plainness is 10. Alright, so they got a 43 by default because it's a traditional song. Alright, so we're going to reroute that second Spirit song and get rid of it and use that second song after that Spirit song to response from Jackson, so that we'll be placing that grade. We're not going to grade the extra battles, well, the extra songs that Jackson played against Southern either. Alright, so who won zero quarter? Let's find out. Alright, and then we can see who's up. Okay, now granted, we're grading overall, so the battle's not over. So if you click off the video, you're missing out. We want to find out who won the overall battle, not just zero quarter. We want to know who won everything. Okay, so for zero quarter, Jackson is up by 1 point. Count of 1 point. Okay, and that's because they was able to replace that Spirit song with a stronger song. Okay. But, you know, if I were to give accolades to accolades, Southern was really ahead. It could have been an even match. Believe it or not, Southern was ahead. They just kind of fumbled the bag just a tad bit in zero quarter. But I had to give that to Jackson by 1. Okay? Got to give it to Jackson by 1. But that's the current standings right now as we speak. That can definitely change when we get to halftime, ladies and gentlemen. So don't click off the video and get butthurt because your band lost or won zero quarter. It don't matter because overall, we want to see who won the whole thing. Okay? So, if you like this type of content, please consider liking and subscribing. It means so much to me. Okay? Alrighty. So, we into the halftime. Okay? It's a different scale from zero quarter. But it's pretty very, very interesting to see. Before we get into this, I want to give Jackson State the accolades. In the last video I posted, I forgot to put their trophy emoji by their name. I realized that during the mix of this video, I was like, dang, I didn't even put their trophy emoji by their name. But they was able to get a perfect 30 from the Pepsi Battle of the Band. So if you want to see that, please click on that above so you can check that out. But it was very interesting for them to pull that off. And then, you know, Southern, they got a perfect 30 when they went against Alabama State. So if you want to see that video, click on that video above as well. Okay, so both bands got trophies by their name, so that means they have been putting on great field shows lately. Okay, so I'm excited to see what both bands are going to bring. Let's see if they're going to bring that heat. If they cut their field show short and they lose some of that intensity, that might hurt their grade. So hopefully they can come with that oomph that they need to do what they need to do to handle business. Okay? So again, if you like this type of content, please consider liking and subscribing. So what does that look like? What does a perfect field show look like? Let me break that down for y'all. Okay? So entrance, songs, formation, dancers, and breakdown. Maximum points they can make all together is 25. I have a creative department with their creative. If they do something unique or death-defying on the field, they can help boost their grade up to a perfect 30 if they can. Okay, so a perfect field show rating is if a band can get 5s with all those categories besides creative. That's a perfect rating for me. That's a passing grade at least. But if not, if they get 27, that's a passing grade for me. But if they get a perfect 30, they get a trophy by the name. Both of these bands got that. So you got to give it to the Boom. You know, they Sonic Boom, they be handling their business on the field. Same thing as Southern. So I do not know what to expect from both of these bands. So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring. Okay, now if they fumble the bag, they can give them a chance to redeem themselves, especially Southern, since they only one down. So hopefully Jackson can handle their business, and hopefully Southern can capitalize. All right, so I'm going to shut up. Let's get into the action.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and all Jackson State University fans, make some noise if you're happy to be present to celebrate two great HBCUs. Prepare to witness the apex of excellence, the quintessence of contemporary sounds and maneuvers, an organization that several other programs have strived to be, but haven't come close. It's the Summa Cum Laude Band presenting a show designed with you in mind, the famous Sonic Boom of the South. The band will now play Glowing Fanfare.
If you're a producer who hates it,
the Sonic Boom will drill to Doing Me by Fantasia, because we only know one way to do it, and that's the Sonic Boom way.
Looks very good. I appreciate the sky high view.
Southern, we know you're watching.
That's very pretty. Very unique how they did that.
Yeah, check out those J5 at the 50-yard line. the best drum majors in the land. And now, they'll not only set the scene, they'll set this field on fire. Here's high energy, elegance, and sophistication. The lovely ladies who bring thrills to billions of eyes. The prancing J-sets, dancing too. It's all good.
I like how they're dancing in the middle of the dance.
Prancing J-sets left no crumbs. Everyone in attendance today, let us see you back that thing up. All right, Baton Rouge, join the boom and let's back that thing up. Come on, boom, let's go. Okay. Now get it loaded. There is so much divisiveness, hatred, and separation in the world today with an evident attack on our HBCUs. In these moments, we have to stand up to adversity, lock arms, and lift every voice as we display that we are one.
Wow, that's pretty.
The Sonic Boom and the JSU family would also like to pay tribute to Caleb Wilson. United we stand, divided we fall.
Beautiful.
Hey, Southern, now that we've graced the field with class, you can take the low road and get ratchet, turn the lights off, and talk trash about Jackson State. I just said Southern's entire show. Dr. Roderick Little is the director of band. Mr. Kevin Johnson is the associate director of bands and chief arranger. Dr. Justin Sherrod is assistant band director and director of percussion. Ms. Chloe Ashley Crowley is the director of the Prancing J-Set. Ms. Courtney Lett is the administrative assistant. Dr. Persephone McDaniels is the interim provost.
All right, that was beautiful. All right, so let's give that a grade. All right, how did the other day do? All right, so entrance, I'm gonna give entrance a 5, songs a 5, formations a 5, dancers a 5, breakdown I'm gonna give them a 2, Creativity, I'll give them a 5. If they would have just said we finna play tribute to Caleb Wilson, didn't give me a breakdown prior to, I probably would have gave them an exemption. But because they only gave me one feature, I gave them a 2. Okay, and they needed to at least give me at least 3 features. So I felt like they used their time wisely, but was it enough for them to handle business? We finna find out. All right. They got a 27. They got a 27, which is a passing grade for me. They won't get a dub from this because we looking at the overall. But if this was just me just grading this full on out, they would receive a passing grade from me. Okay, so they would have got that. Okay, so with that being said, you know, very great field show. I just wish they would have gave me a little bit more in the breakdown department, but still a passing grade. So congratulations, boom. All right, so moving on. Alright, we got Southern University next. I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited. I'm excited, man. Look, how they handle business with Alabama State, I don't know on that field, man. They oh, yeah. Can't wait to see what they finna pull. Can't wait. Alright, let's get to it.
The reason for the season, the often imitated, but never ever duplicated. The Southern University on compare from Jaguar Land. The Southern University marching band is led by drum major, DeMarcus, the showstopper here from New Orleans, Louisiana. Show him some love.
Now fans, last night was just an appetizer to the main course. Fans, take out your phone and double check the time. Jackson State, as soon as you cross the state line, you are on the clock. Actually, this is the exact time you're gonna take this whooping on the bluff. (8:04 p.m.) Now go and copy that. Oh yeah! We some head busters. We'll knock the blue up. We some head busters. Oh! Get one for some power.
Foul is there right now.
An optical illusion. Diver, or Willow's best friend.
Some small 8 to 5 issues. Very slight.
And now put their hands together
That was nice.
And now, the SU band will perform for you. Red light special. Director. Ball director band. Associate director band. Sister William Young.
You're
Nixon called. They said it's gonna turn the lights off. That's crazy.
And now, we got an amazing trailblazing 360 steps per minute. One of the many reasons why we use such Southern University marching band, it means showtime. And again, all that just to let you know that they're up there. The Southern University marching band is simply America's finest. So sit back, relax, think about the experience the most exciting time of your life. Ask the stimulation, the dance, the house rock, the rock of all houses of the crowd, we can take you on a ride. Think about the sound you're down to. Real good. Take you there.
Motherfucker, you ready to party? Say, oh yeah! I said, oh yeah! And we are sucking all the way down. House real big, car real big, juke real big, everything real big. About to break it down, so stand your feet. Jukebox, y'all niggas, get in. Come on, Jukebox, show them how we take them through it. Cause we're the baddest in the land. We got the best band. The human Jukebox gonna take you through there. Yeah, yeah, I'm talking about in it. Ripple, 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 crazy leg, crazy leg. Front to the back, yeah, the juke in the back. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. The human Jukebox is the best for life. Now power down, 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 down.
Let's get that a grade. Oh man. Oh man. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect for me, man. Woo! That was nice. I mean, it was literally was almost a perfect and almost a perfect 30 as well. Okay, entrance is 5, songs is 5, formations is 5. I mean, songs is a 4, formations 5, dances 5, breakdown I'm gonna give them a 5, creativity I'm gonna give them a 5. All right. So reason why I gave songs a 4. When they did that song before the lights came out, I just felt like they need to spot check some spots in that song. I mean, for the majority, it was clean, but it was some spots in that song that needed to be worked on, especially between high brass. High brass is getting killed this year. High brass is getting killed this year. I ain't gonna lie to you on that, but I mean, for the majority, it was very strong. I enjoyed that, but really good show. Really good show. All right, so what did that leave us? Okay, current standings. Okay. So, who won halftime? I gotta give it to Southern. Okay, Southern is up. They made a 3-point difference in that. Okay, and then Jackson was up by 1 and 0. Okay, so 3 minus 1 equals 2. So now Southern's up by 2 points. Okay, so Southern's up by 2 points. That's the current standings. You know, because they just had a stronger field show than Jackson. Jackson ended out with class, but I can't get mad at them for that. It was still a good field show. Damn good field show. It was a passing field show for me. But I just think Southern had the better field show. Alright? So, with that being said, we got fifth quarter. And this is a short fifth quarter. Okay? A very short fifth quarter. Okay, so this is, I wouldn't say very short, but it's about going to run you about 4 to 5 songs at the max. Maybe 3. Okay? Depends on if they decide to run the tuba break back. But I'm not expecting them to stay long because they had a hell of a night the night before. So not expecting everybody to be pulling out some stuff in this. But if they do, I'll be surprised. I think they might recycle some stuff from the night prior to. That's just my expectations from this. Okay? So, before we get into the fifth quarter, I would like to say this too. Please not getting y'all feelings about these grades. This is just my opinion. You know, I want the best for both bands, and as you can tell, you know, I don't show any favoritism. Okay? You know, hey, you know, Southern was stronger in halftime. Jackson was stronger than 0. You kind of get what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know what to expect from fifth quarter. You know, so it's kind of even fair around. Okay? What I would say is that this scale, both of these scales are different from the Boombox Classic. Okay? We're not grading how strong an arrangement is. We're grading how the execution of the arrangement. Okay? So 2 different type of scales. So, you know, this is just highlighting the things that they need to work on, who was just consistent throughout the majority. Because some bands' pen are just ruthless, and some bands are not that great. So you kind of get what I'm getting at. So before you get in y'all feelings about who y'all think won, come back and rethink what y'all was about to say. Alright? So, with that being said, let's look into the cards and see what we could be grading. We're grading song selection, power, articulation, arrangement, and overall cleanness. Maximum points they can make altogether is 50. There are no spirit songs in the fifth quarter, but if they play spirit songs in the fifth quarter, that will hurt their grade tremendously. Okay? It'd be different if they had an exit song or something like that, but you know, this is the swag. They don't have an exit song. Okay? Exit traditional songs like they have in Amik. But you kind of get what I'm getting at. So with that being said, we're going to grade that and we're going to be done. Alright? So let's get to it. Again, shout out to Killer Kev for getting the footage. shit.
Creators, I built these 3 apps to...
Alright, let's get at a grade. Oh man, Jackson came out with the real crucialness in the beginning of this battle, bruh. Woo, Jackson. Ooh, Jackson. They ain't playing no games. I wasn't even expecting that from Jackson. And they pulled that out. I was like, oh shit. Oh shit, here we go. Oh man, I do not know what to expect at all. So yeah. Yeah. Alright, moving on. Alright, let me get that a grade. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. There's some spots they need to fix on the runs. There was a part where the tubers, when they cut off, the band cut off, and the tube was kind of hung over. So you kind of get what I'm getting at. They just need to spot check the small places in this stuff. So sound selection is 10, power is 10, articulation is 10, arrangement is 10, cleanness is a 10. So not bad. Not bad at all, but almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. Alrighty, moving on. Whew. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Whew. Oh my gosh. Give that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Oh my goodness. Oh man, they don't win. They don't win super sad. I gotta give them a pen too for that too. Oh my gosh. They went all over. They went crazy on that shit. Oh my gosh, Jackson. Oh wow. Wow. That was crazy. Yo, I was not expecting that from Jackson at all. They came up with a book just for the 5th quarter. Damn. And not only that too, that shit was crucial. Yo. Oh man, that shit's crazy. That shit's crazy. Wow, Jackson. Damn. Moving on. Moving on. Alright, Southern. Alright. Pretty ending. Pretty ending. Oh my gosh. But high brass. Almost a perfect. I'm mad at the high brass, bruh. It's just the small stuff with them. The small stuff with them. That's all I gotta say. Almost a perfect. I'm like, man, y'all gonna have to get it together on that, bruh. It's not bad. It's just I just feel like they just need to just get it just right. Just right there. It's like they right there. Alright. Song selections 10, power is 10, articulation is 10, arrangements 10. Cleanness, I'm going to give them a 9. Okay? Almost a perfect. Like, it's like right there. Like, literally right there. Oh, man. Alright, moving on. Let's give that a grade. Woo! It came with that power at the end. Alright. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. I'll tell you why. Alright. There were just some parts with the high brass, just a tad bit at the end, in the middle, in the beginning too. They just fine-tune the small parts. So song selection is 10, power is 10, articulation is 10, arrangement is 10, cleanness is a 9. Almost a perfect. It's right there. It's right there. Like they kissing it. that's how close they are. Alright. Alright, so it looks like we getting real close to the end. Oh wow. So it look like Southern's gonna close us out all the way. Okay. And this is it for them. They finna head out. They almost had it. let's get that a grade. Almost a perfect. They almost had it for me. Tuba runs, and then it was some people was kind of missing on the high brass, and that is when we got close to the ending. All right, almost a perfect for me. Almost a perfect for me. Like, I was hoping that they was gonna get that, but they it was right there. It was right there, you know. So I was just like, it's right there, right there. And it's, like I said, that part going back in close to the end with the tuba breaks, they were doing fine the whole entire time. When it comes down to that coming back in, not trombones, but the high brass was missing. People were missing notes in that. So, you know, it could have been just a tad bit better than that. Alright, moving on. Southern's going to close this out, so we're just going to be grading them, but we're not going to count that against Jackson, okay?
Yo, I just got access to the Washington Post.
Get that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Oh, that shit was nice. That was an arrangement for your ass. Okay? Look, one thing I gotta say about that arrangement, it was very nice. It's just missing just an initial edge and just need to be sprucing up in just some small spots. Just spot check some spots and I think it'll be there. That's all they gotta do. Just spot check some spots and it's gonna be there. I think a lot of their issue this year is that they were getting ready for this Boombox Battle of the Bands, so they were just trying to get their book ready, but there was some stuff they need to clean. You know, I think that's one of their main things. They need to make sure that they need to clean some of their stuff. A lot of cleaning, okay? It's just the small spots, but almost the perfect. Almost the perfect. Alrighty. So, there was a lot to look at in this. And, you know, some people might get in their feelings, some people might not. But, you know, it is what it is on this. Alright? So, who won the Boombox game? Okay? The Boombox Classic. Alright? So, I'm going to give my fair take on this battle for both sides. We're going to run down everything. Alright? And so we'll know who won. Alright? Alright. So, in zero quarter, I had Jackson up by 1 point. Right? So, Jackson was up by 1 point in zero quarter. So, technically speaking, Jackson won zero quarter by 1 point. Okay? They won zero quarter. When we get into halftime, okay, Southern had the better halftime than Jackson by 3 points. But because of that difference in zero, that made it a 2 point lead Southern's way. Okay? 2 point lead. When we get into fifth quarter, okay, I would give the edge fifth quarter to Jackson by 2. Okay? So, Jackson was ahead by Southern by 2 points in that battle in the fifth quarter. So what did that leave us overall? It's a tie. Okay? It's a tie, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first tie of the season. Okay? As far as bands going head to head this season. Because it was a very even battle throughout majority of the battle. Okay? Very even. Okay? So if you want to give accolades, I gave the accolades. Jackson won 0. Southern won halftime. Jackson won fifth. Okay? Alright? So it was a tie. Alright? So you know what that means? Both bands get a dub.
Victory.
Alright? Both bands will receive a dub from me. There's no losses when there's a tie. So both bands get a dub. Alright? So here it is. They got that dub, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, good job both bands. I think they both handled business. Both bands did. You know, I could tell that it was a long night for them, for both bands, because they had to recuperate and do it all over again. So, you know, shout outs to both bands for holding in there, hanging in there, you know, and keep giving it their best. Okay? So, I got to give it to both of these bands. You know, like I said, if we was to say critique, if I was to critique anything for Southern, I would just want them just to work on just keeping a high brass strong. Spot check some songs that y'all have currently. I think y'all be straight. For Jackson, I would want them for the halftime. I would want them just to give me a breakdown, give me some more breakdown features. Even though they gave me a tribute, I got to give them something that gave me some sauce with it, which was a passing grade. I just want them just to give them an extra edge, just give me some more breakdown features. When it comes down to book, rather, I would want them to just spot check a couple songs, but not too many songs, just a couple. Majority of the time, they have been smashing. So I got to give it to Jackson for their book. They sound cleaner than Southern this year. All right? So, with that being said, man, I'm finna get up out of here, y'all. It was a thrill. Like I said, man, be a part of this family if you haven't. Deuces.